Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. I got a new mic today, so hopefully this mic is a lot better than my last one. A few of you made complaints that the last one was too low, so hopefully this one's a little bit better. So over the weekend, we had America attacking Iran. They attacked 3 nuclear sites with bunker busters with B-52 bombers. I made the correct prediction that they would attack over the weekend based on troop movements. They were emptying bases around Qatar, Bahrain. They were moving B-52 bombers around. The language that was coming out of the United States plus Israel, it was very obvious that they would attack over the weekend. And you could never take Trump's word for it because he said he was going to give Iran 2 weeks to negotiate. Obviously, you cannot take any word coming out of Trump's mouth. So they did attack, and luckily they did not attack using nuclear weapons. Was one thing I was afraid of. So cooler heads have prevailed. If they did attack Iran with nuclear weapons, then all bets would have been off. Russia would have started using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Countries around the world would fast-track their nuclear program and go nuclear as soon as possible. Countries would start leaving the NPT. The stock markets would crash. All bets would have been off and all hell would have broken loose. So luckily they didn't. However, they did attack nuclear sites, which is just as bad. If those nuclear sites were operational, luckily they wasn't, then you would have had nuclear fallout going all around the Middle East. So luckily Iranians had shut down those sites, the reactors and any nuclear activity in those sites. And also luckily not much damage was done on those nuclear sites despite America throwing tons of bunker busters at it. The damage that's come out is mainly on the entrances and exits. The actual core of the sites was not destroyed because they are heavily under, mountains and also heavily protected with lots of concrete and metal and stuff like that. And so that wasn't damaged. So all of that exercise was pretty much a waste, to be honest. It hasn't destroyed Iranian's nuclear program. In fact, the IAEA has confirmed that it has not. And they've also said that Iran has still got processed uranium, which is missing, which they have been doing at 60%, 400 kilograms of it, enough to make 20 nuclear bombs. So all of that's gone missing. So all of that has been a waste of time. Trump has come on a joint conference call and he said that, God bless Israel before God bless America. So it's obvious who he's working for. He's an absolute puppet of Israel by the sounds of it. 10 years ago, Trump was complaining about America going into Iraq. He was complaining that, or even 20 years ago, he said, uh, America is wasting money going into Middle Eastern wars, trillions and trillions. And what does he do? He does the same thing in his second term. So it's just double standards, hypocrisy, um, all the above. Quite disappointing, to be honest. He's let down a lot of his MAGA base as well because he promised them there will be no more foreign wars. And what does he do? He starts another one with Iran. What Iran does from now is going to be up to them. I think they have to be very, very careful with what they do from here. Yes, they can close the Strait of Hormuz, but that's just going to help America and also help Russia as well. Because if the oil prices rise, Russia will obviously benefit and they can probably finish the Ukraine war much faster. but it will also benefit America because America is the largest producer of oil by far. So if their oil prices go to 100, then lots of fracking sites will open up and America will make lots of money. The losers are going to be Europe. The losers are also going to be the Gulf countries that transport oil using the Hormuz Strait. Countries like Iraq, Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain, um, even Syria, even Turkey as well. So there's a lot of countries that use the Hormuz Strait. Plus, also trade will be affected, and also Israel as well. Israel uses the Hormuz Strait. There's a lot of transport goes through the Hormuz Strait, goes into Iraq, and then from Iraq it goes into Syria, and then from Syria it goes to Lebanon, then from Lebanon it goes to Israel. Maybe not Lebanon, but I think more probably Jordan. Probably goes to Jordan, and then from Jordan it goes to Israel. So so yeah, Iran can close the Hormuz Strait. I think maybe they should, and they should only allow non-American and non-Israeli goods to travel, but do a complete blockade of Israeli goods and American goods. I think that would really hurt America if they can do something like that. I don't think they should attack American bases. I think they should focus on Israel. What they're doing now is pretty good. I think they should just focus on Israel and finish that job. Because right now, Israel is on the ropes. And I think if they can carry this on for 6 months or 1 year, then Iran has a very good possibility of winning this war. Because Israel cannot last a long war. And also look at the size of Israel compared to the size of Iran. Iran can concentrate all their missiles into a few major cities in Israel. We're talking about Tel Aviv, Haifa, even and a few big cities in Israel, and they are very closely packed together because Israel is not a big country. So Iran can really destroy Israel if they carry on bombing them every single day for the next 6 months or 1 year. Israel will be absolutely destroyed, their economy would be shattered, people would be leaving Israel in droves. Already people are leaving, and Israel would pretty much collapse. And that's the only thing Iran has to do, just focus on Israel. Israel can obviously attack Iran as well, but Iran is much larger, and and it's going to be a lot more difficult to destroy most of Iran's infrastructure. And obviously they would, but Iran is a lot more capable of lasting a long war because they've lasted long wars with their Iraq, and they are a lot more capable of doing that. The Israelis are more European. They cannot handle long wars. They cannot handle hardship. You know, they would rather be partying out, dining out in the streets, and having a good time rather than having wars, especially long wars. Americans don't like it. Westerners don't like it. This is why Americans and Westerners just don't like long wars. They just kind of handle it. So I think Iran should carry on doing what it's doing, and just focus on Israel for now. So this video, I'm going to talk about 10 things Iranians have made a mistake, and if they didn't do these mistakes, then Iran would not have been attacked by now. And even if America or Israel attacks Iran, they would have been much more better prepared. So I'm going to talk about these 10 things. Let me know if you agree with them or not. Number one, Iran should have had the bomb by now. North Korea has proved that if you have the bomb, then the West leaves you alone. Sorry, guys, my throat is I got a bit of a cold today. So they leave you alone if you have a bomb, basically, because it's too much of a big risk. This is the reasons why NATO's not attacking Russia, why they don't attack North Korea, and why they will never attack China. because nuclear weapons is a major threat to them. And they normally leave countries alone that have nuclear weapons. So I'm not sure why Iran has not got any nuclear weapons. And I think, I mean, everyone knows Khamenei has done a fatwa on not having any nuclear weapons, and his word is pretty much it's like, it's like a bond. What he says pretty much goes in Iran. So if he's done a fatwa, then Iranians are not going to have a bomb. However, talking to some Iranians, and I do know quite a few as well, they said that Iran has got all the capability of producing nuclear weapons and everything's pretty much ready. Even though they don't have any nuclear weapons ready to go, everything's ready they have all the uranium, they have all the, del- the delivery systems is ready, the hypersonic rockets are ready, all the technology is there for them to have a nuclear weapon. So when the time comes and they decide to have nuclear weapons, they can easily put it together. It's not going to take them long. This is another reasons why America and Israel has not killed Khamenei yet. Grand Ayatollah Khamenei, I'm talking about. So they are afraid that if they kill him or they get rid of him, that the fatwa would be gone and Iranians will start producing a bomb. The only thing that's stopping them right now from producing a bomb is the Grand Ayatollah's words or fatwa. So that's one reason they haven't killed him yet. But everything else is ready. Everything from delivery systems, rockets, technology. They, you know, they have the technology. They have the know-how to do it. They just haven't done it. And one of the other reasons they haven't done it is because they want to, they want to make peace with the West. I think a lot of Iranians, they're very pro-Western, and they want to make peace with the West. Which goes on to my second point, really. The second point is too many Iranians are too pro-Westerners and they're too trusting of the West. A lot of Iranian leaderships were dead on the first day, like when Israel attacked Iran on a surprise attack. They killed a lot of top leadership positions, and I've seen some pictures that's going around social media. All of these leaders were going around using iPhones. I'm not kidding, guys. They use Western technology. They use iPhones. They use apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. They have all of these apps in their phones, and and apparently they used WhatsApp to trace them, and also they've traced them using iPhones, and they knew exactly where their location was, and they got bombed and they got killed. So this is the thing, guys. Iranians, you know, when you're at war, or when you're an enemy of the West, you do not use their products. Huawei is being sold in Iran, and Huawei has proved to be hack-proof. All of them should have been using Huawei phones. So I don't know why they're using iPhones. I don't know why they're using WhatsApp. Probably a lot of them are still using the pages as well that got blown up in Lebanon. It's really short-sighted thinking, guys. Very short-sighted, and it's very, you know, this is beyond words. I mean, they should not be doing things like that. And don't know why they're doing it. And I think still a lot of pro Western people in Iran, especially the leadership. The last leadership was actually quite good. It was the Raisi, and I believe Raisi got killed in the helicopter crash, which probably Israel did, to be honest. And after him, the new leadership seems to be very pro-Western, and it's almost like they've had a regime change in Iran, and they're making mistake after mistake after mistake, which is not good. So it brings me on to number three. Um, they shouldn't have allowed Syria to fall. Allowing Syria to fall has allowed Israel to fly over Syria and attack Iran directly. When Assad was in power, Israeli jets would not dare to fly over Syria. So they had a big problem at attacking Iran. So the only way to attack Iran would have been flying through the Red Sea or flying through it would have been a long, very very long way, or it's probably almost impossible even. And allowing Syria to fall has allowed Israel to have direct access from the airspace into Iran. So that was a major, major mistake, allowing Syria to fall. People might say, oh, look, it wasn't Iran's fault, Syria fell. But if you remember the 10-year civil war that Syria had, Syria was fighting alongside Iranians, the Revolutionary Guards, they were fighting alongside Hezbollah, and they were fighting alongside Russia to get rid of the terrorists, and they pushed them all the way to Idlib. They had a chance to completely finish them off, and I don't know why they didn't. It was a really big mistake not to finish them off. And and the Iranians have said that if Syria wanted help, they would have come to the aid of Syria. So it was a major, major mistake allowing Syria to fall because so this is the consequence of this. The next one is not signing a full defense treaty with Russia. So the language coming out of Iran right now is that the reason they haven't signed a full defense treaty with Russia, and Russia would have come to the aid of Iran, they would not allow Israel to attack or America to attack. So the reason they said they did not sign the full treaty was because they wanted to not to burn bridges with the West. They wanted to negotiate with the West, and that's the reason why they didn't. And it's utter stupidity on their part. They should have signed a full defense treaty with Russia. It would have protected them, and now they're paying the price, unfortunately. The next thing is not buying Russian S-400s, and you can see from all the attacks that's happening in Iran, they don't really have adequate air defense against all of these Israeli jets and American jets. If they had adequate defenses like S-400s, it would have been a lot difficult for Israel to come into Iranian airspace and start throwing bombs. And the S-400s even would have caught the B-52 bombers as well that America has been sending. So it's a major, major mistake not buying S-400s. And apparently Putin had a press conference the other day, just I think a few weeks ago, or maybe even last week, and he said that Russia had offered um, Iran S-400s, but they refused for some reason. So again, that's a very, very major mistake. The next mistake they did is not buying Chinese jets, Chinese radar, Chinese anti-air, basically Chinese weapons. And again, I don't know whether it's, they had some sort of inferiority complex against Chinese. They think it's low quality, whether it's racism, whether it's stupidity. It really is a major mistake why they didn't buy Chinese jets. If they ordered Chinese J-10C or J-17C, which are battle tested in Pakistan, if they bought them a few years ago, they would have had hundreds by now. China has the manufacturing capacity to deliver hundreds of planes in a record time. So that was a major mistake, not having any planes, basically. They got they don't have any decent planes. They instead what they did with the money, they bought Russian planes, and Russian planes are, Su-35s. They're going to take much longer because Russia doesn't have the manufacturing capacity like China, and also, they're in the middle of a war, so it's not their top priority. So that was another major mistake by Iranians, and you can see from Pakistan they went full Chinese with all their weaponry, and this is why they were able to beat India so easily because all their weapon systems came together at once. And with the PL-15s, radars, they destroyed 5, 6 Rafale jets instantly. And if that war went on, they would have lost. India would have lost its whole fleet. So Iran again has made a major mistake not buying Chinese jets. So the other major mistakes Iran did, this is probably number 7, I believe, is not joining the fight when Hezbollah was fighting. So there was a time when Hezbollah was fighting Israel, Yemen was firing rockets from Yemen, Hamas was kicking Israel's ass in Gaza, and Iraq was sending rockets from Iraq as well, and even Syria was intact as well. Assad was there. So Israel was on the ropes at the time, and there was a chance they could have been completely finished off if Iranians joined the fight and started throwing long-range weapons at Israel, especially their positions in Israel. Israel would have just given up at that point because they were fighting a 6-7 front war at the time. Israel was on the ropes, and there was a press conference. I actually saw Netanyahu shaking. His hands were actually shaking in a press conference. And that was the time to finish off Israel, and Iran didn't take that opportunity. And because they didn't, you can see the result. Israel has managed to take out these countries one by one. They took out Syria, they took out Hezbollah. Obviously, they took most of Hamas out as well. So they're taking out these countries one by one. And when Iran had the opportunity to completely finish off Israel, they didn't take that. They didn't take it. So that was a major mistake. Number 8, do not negotiate with United States. So that's another mistake Iranians have done. They are negotiating with the United States, and the United States have been backstabbing them again and again and again. They said they want to negotiate on a Sunday, and what did they do? They allowed Israel to attack Iran. They said they're going to wait till 2 weeks of negotiation. What do? They attack Iran's nuclear sites. So you cannot trust United States in their word, and I think Iran has made a major mistake negotiating with Americans. They should have gone full BRICS, full Russia, full China, and just focused on that. And this new leadership is very short-sighted, I believe. They didn't take the partnership with Russia, they didn't take the partnership with China, and they focused on joining with the West yet again. And again, it was a major mistake. So they needed to go full BRICS, guys, full Russia, full China, and they would have been okay. Number 9, they allowed Chabahar to be taken over by the Indians. And they cannot trust the Indians because apparently there's been a lot of Indian spies in Iran. There's a drone factory which Indians have been producing drones, and these drones were used to attack Iran as well, Iranian sites. And a lot of Indians got arrested, and apparently a lot of Indians were basically spying on Iran as well. And also during the fight with Pakistan and India, Iran did a stupid thing and basically basically agreed some deal with India at the time in the middle of that war, which was really snake-like behavior. There was a big backstab to Pakistan, and look how India has been repaying, Iran. India has not been taking Iran's side in this conflict. In fact, they have been taking the side of Israel, and so again, Iran has made some major, major mistakes choosing its friends. And I think they need to kick Iran, India out of all of their projects from Iran. And number 10, the final thing is they need to take out Israel's dimona and other infrastructure sites. Because, yeah, Iran is firing a lot of missiles to Israel, but a lot of these missiles seems to be hitting residential areas and things like that. It would have been much better to fire 10 hypersonic missiles at Dimona, completely destroy it, guys. Then one, hitting it, or 10 hitting it in random sites. They should be hitting out important infrastructure projects in Israel. For example, the Dimona, the water purification sites, the dams, the power, power sites. Because if you look at Israel, there's still power, there's still electricity, there's still water. So these are the things that Israel needs to take out first of all, because Israel's doing the same to Iran. So Iran needs to be more precise in its targets and destroy targets that's going to cause major pain to Israel. And I think if they do that, then there's more likely Israel will give up. So those are the 10 things, guys. Let me know whether you agree with it or not. And let's chat on the comment section. And we'll talk soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.